School districts across Maricopa County have been ordered to pay back nearly $150 million in funds after the Arizona Court of Appeals upheld a ruling that the county overtaxed some property owners from 2015 to 2021. Scott Thompson joins us now. He's the Assistant Superintendent for Business and Support Services at Mesa Public Schools. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
$150 million. This is basically some folks got overtaxed. They went to the court and the court said, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does it affecting your district?
So I think it's important to kind of talk about the history of and the background of how schools get funded. So real quickly, I'll try to break that down. We have what we call an equalization system here in Arizona. So we, as a school district, get the same amount per kid no matter where they go to school. So whether you're in Scottsdale or Mesa or over in Buckeye, we all get funded the same way. What's unique about our system is it's called equalization. And equalization basically is a way to try to have the tax rate for the school taxes be exactly the same across the state. And the way they do that is to basically take the evaluation that these taxes are based on and figure out whether you're a high wealth or low wealth district when it comes to property. So if you're a high wealth property district like Scottsdale, you pretty much generate all of your tax locally off the local property tax. Whereas in Mesa, we're more of like a 60-40. So 60% of it comes from the state and 40% comes from local taxpayers. And that local taxpayer is the part that's getting affected by this.
And they're getting affected because of a reclassification, correct? I mean,
Yeah.
these folks had a residential home, but they had changed it over to something, a rental or these sorts of things. And that didn't matter as far as the assessor was concerned. And they're saying it should matter. The county said, what? The county said it doesn't matter because it's all residential. Is that what's going on here?
That was the county's argument, but apparently they lost.
Yes, yes.
So what's difficult for us is our system's based on that evaluation. So now to pay back those individuals who were wronged or got the wrong evaluation, all the property taxing entities like a school district, could be a city, could be a fire district, could be a community college, are all going to be basically asked to recoup these dollars and then distribute those to the ones who were wrongfully taxed.
How are they going to recoup the dollars?
We're going to have to raise taxes on some level.
Is there any way to go to the legislature and get that formula that you were talking about earlier? Can you get that, monkey around with that a little bit?
They are. Interestingly enough, they're right in the middle of the budget right now, and we don't know the outcome yet, but that is part of the consideration. What would happen is the state aid or the state portion is going to be recalculated for the portion that it had to contribute because of this calculation. So that's part of it, but that still doesn't cover the whole thing. So you still have some local area tax that has to be collected somehow.
Bonds, overrides, are they at play?
They are at play. They were a part of that evaluation, how much tax was generated, and so that category will be generating the additional money that needs to go to the settlement.
And we should mention that the reclassification issue, which these homeowners brought up, and which the tax court agreed, they overcharged you, overtaxed you for this. That whole thing now has been settled by the state, correct? That's not even an issue anymore.
That's not the issue. The court is over.
Yeah.
I think what's at issue is this impact to like a school district and the fact that we're basically charged with collecting these dollars when we really had nothing to. We don't set the evaluation. We didn't have anything to do with evaluating what your property was, and yet just because we're a taxing entity, we're going to be charged with kind of collecting the settlement, and that's kind of frustrating. And I'm hoping to get the word out there that this increase in your taxes may look like a school board setting a higher tax, or maybe a town or a city or even a community college, but we're not increasing taxes because of the actions of our boards or different spending inside the schools. It's just literally this judgment has to be, the money has to be generated somewhere, and it's going to come through those entities who quote unquote benefited from the higher evaluation that's now lower.
Is there a time frame to recoup the funds?
I think that's still being discussed. There's some opportunities, as you mentioned. The state budget is considering some of options, maybe some bonding and some other ways to maybe draw out over time. Because some areas might be much more. It's going to be very unique to each school district.
I was going to say, compare, if you can, Mesa School District to other school districts around there. Who's getting hit the hardest and who's not feeling it all that much?
You know,
I put you in a tough position
that's a
here.
tough position
Yeah,
because I think everybody feels like it's pretty tough in their own backyard. For Mesa, the liability that's been created is about $11 million. Now that state aid we were talking about might offset about half of that, but I still got to then raise taxes to collect about $5 million in Mesa. So that could be anywhere from a 20 to 30 cent increase to our tax rate. That,
Right.
Again, has nothing to do with anything we're doing.
But again, going forward, that bump that you had is not there anymore. That's part of the budgeting process now as well. At least you have that figured out.
That's correct. At least we don't have the uncertainty of is this going to happen again?
How much of a surprise was this?
Quite frankly, for me, it was a big surprise. I think for most of my colleagues, we weren't really paying attention. I mean, this apparently has been going on for like 9 years.
Yeah.
And really didn't have our eyes on it. And it feels kind of like everybody, the court court ruled, and then there was appealed, and then the appeal was lost, and boom, it was on our back doorstep. All of a sudden.
Okay, so going forward from here, everything is in place to keep something like this from happening again, but you still got the back guard. You still got to get that money.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, this is just Maricopa County.
Yes.
Because it was that assessor who made these decisions and then was sued. So this doesn't affect everybody in the state, but it does affect a lot of folks because obviously it's Maricopa County.
Indeed, yeah. Scott Thompson, Mesa Public Schools, good information.